noticing that. All right, we're already wasting time. Let's get going here.
Okay, so, well, you told me to research some stuff, and now this is the super easy one. We'll just go ahead and put this one out first as a what do you call it, a consumer alert, and then move on to the next one.
Short.
Yeah, it's short. It's one a lot of people may have heard of before, but just in case you haven't, it's the pizza delivery scam.
Yes. So what has happened here is, I think it's died down more or less lately because Disney has finally cracked down on this problem. But it's not like the other ones where you'd have a Motel 6 where you'd get the flyers. So if you're starting to see flyers coming in and you're noticing flyers for pizza places, be wary of those.
Yeah. And that's what they were saying was that what these pizza companies were doing, they were sliding flyers under the door, putting them on the door, or putting them on your car. And so people would check in, they'd see the flyer, and they go, oh, okay, yeah, pizza, that sounds good, you know. We just checked in, we're tired.
Probably a lot cheaper than the Disney pizza, so they're like, hell, you know.
And you can order from any pizza place and have to go to the Disney hotel. Well, to the ones that deliver there. I mean, there aren't all of them don't deliver there, but of the ones that deliver there, you can't. So the Disney property won't tell them no, they can't deliver there.
They have their own, but you can bring in an outside one.
I'm not really sure why, but well, like you said,
Price.
it might be cheaper. So here's what they're doing. They put the brochure under your door. You get the brochure. You think that's a great idea. I'm tired. Let's just get some pizza. You're not going to get the pizza. What's going to happen is...
Well, why am I not going to get a pizza?
Well...
I gave them my credit card.
That's the problem. You gave them your credit card.
Why is that a problem?
Well, because those aren't real pizza companies.
But it said pizza on the front. They spelled it with 2 S's and a C and everything.
They probably did.
What are we getting, with extra onions and hold the Oreos?
Nope. I'm sorry. The Oreos. Do they put the little fish? That's what I want to know. The little fish. No.
Fish heads.
Yeah, they are a quote fishing scam. There you go. They put the little fish on there. Most of the time, no, you won't get the pizza. Is what people are saying. I
mean, if the least they could do, if they're gonna rip off your credit card information, is at least call up Domino's and have them send you a pizza too.
And you know. And they're
paying for it anyway.
They're counting on the fact that, you know, you're in a hotel, you're tired and everything else. You're probably just going to say, oh, the heck with it. I was going to use no word. Yeah, and you're just going to blow it off and, you know, you'll just get something to eat there or something and go to bed.
They don't know us fat people very well.
So.
We're not going to say the heck with it. We want our food. We call that number back.
And the thing is, you're on vacation. You're using your credit card a lot to make out-of-state purchases. So it's not going to look unusual if somebody goes out there and makes some pretty hefty purchases on your credit card. So if you get ready to check out and find that you don't have enough to cover your room charges,
uh-oh,
could be why.
There are, believe it or not, there actually are still phone books available at the resorts as well. So you can look at the phone book for official pizza places.
Yeah, even coupons sometimes are still printed in the phone book. Weird as that is.
But yeah, if there's not one in your room, usually in the lobby there's at least one.
As you said, the Disney hotels serve pizza. I know at Pop Century they have their own little cute little truck that they drive around because I have video of it. So, yeah. So that was just a little quick one I wanted to put out there as a PSA. If it's happening, you know, it obviously is happening. It's ripping people off. It's not a good thing. It's not the worst thing that's ever been done, but
it can get pretty bad. I mean, they phishing scams for everybody.
If you're like us, you don't have enough money to have any extra taken out. And a lot of times, even if they, you know, if you immediately call the bank and say, whoa, that charge wasn't me, and they stop, what they'll do is they'll put a hold on your account or something. And it may take a while.
For a while, yeah.
It may take a while to get your money back, and it may take a while for them to unfreeze your account so that you can then make your next charge or whatever.
If you get it all back.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly. So. And in some cases, yeah, they may not refund it all to you.
Yes, so just be careful where and who you order pizza from. Make sure it's legit.
So that was just a little quick one I wanted to put out there as a PSA. If it's happening, you know, it obviously is happening. It's ripping people off. It's not a good thing. It's not the worst thing that's ever been done, but. And obviously, if you buy anything or use your credit card for anything and don't get your service, immediately call the credit card people. Don't wait till the next day or whatever, because some of those things they put, you know, 24-hour, 48-hour limits on, and if you haven't reported it soon enough, you don't get your money back.
If it's been more than 2 or 3 hours and you don't have your pizza still, pretty good indication something's gone wrong.
Don't just go to bed.
Yeah,
Which is what you'll
you'll
be tempted to do because you'll be so tired.
So,
Okay, I found a little quick one on here. Now, this applies to in general, but then there was a specific case that they were kind of talking about. There's a site called clickorlando.com, had a really nice article on it. It appears other places too, but that's where I got the information for this particular one. Hotel booking sites that aren't legit, like in the case they were talking about, the Buena Vista Vacation Management. Now I can't say they are not legit, okay, because that has not been adjudicated. I can say that people are saying that that particular company is not legitimate. They have an F on Yelp, and they had no. That's no, not even in the American education system is F considered good. It wasn't an X. They have multiple complaints lodged with the BBB against them, the Better Business Bureau. So what they're saying, really, you have to be careful about these online hotel booking sites. Obviously, the ones that have been around for ages that we all know, Expedia and Travelocity and these guys, they're completely legit, and you know they're really good about refunding money and so forth. But if you've not heard of them before, or they haven't been around for a while, and you don't see a lot of good reviews from people you trust saying, yeah, it works, it's a good company. I mean, I hate to tell people not to use smaller companies because that kind of hurts the smaller companies that are legit.
That's true.
Unfortunately, there are so many illegitimate ones out there who are ripping people off. I personally would not go with any company that wasn't a major well-known company with all the guarantees that come with that.
Yeah, I mean.
And in any case, they never wire them money. That's what they're wanting people to pay by like wiring them money, sending them pre-approved cards, all kind of crazy. If they get into any kind of crazy finance, if they can't take a credit card, they ain't getting my vacation money. But
it may sound silly that it's mentioned as wiring money and sending in prepaid cards and stuff like this, but the reason why it's being mentioned in all these frauds and scams is because there are people that are doing it.
yeah, I mean,
It works, obviously.
yeah.
So just, you know, it may sound a little bit, it may be something that's may be stated more often than you care to hear it,
Yeah.
but apparently it needs to be stated more and more until everyone understands that this is just not the way you need to be doing business in 2015.
There are so many places that you can legitimately buy Disney tickets.
Yeah, it's just...
and book your vacation. That it just doesn't make sense to go through these fly-by-night companies. You know, they're just... I hate for people to lose their whole vacation money because, like us, you know, I know a lot of people are like us. You save for a year, 2 years, 3 years
Some
just
people
to
their
get to
lifetime.
go one trip, and you may not get another chance. You may not ever have that money again. It's just gone when it's gone. So these guys, you know, they may get investigated, but the odds are they won't even find this article that was talking about this one particular company. They went to the building that was supposed to be their headquarters, and the people who were there said they didn't know who they were. Never heard of them. So that could be just some guy operating out of his basement and mirroring it for, you know, so doing his internet tricks that I'm not that savvy about. Okay, so do we want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 4 I have. This one is, it's bad. It's really bad. But I couldn't help laughing also at the same time. So it was reported as 4 years free vacation. It wasn't 4 years.
Dang. How do you get... I mean... Okay, they must have used all 50 of those vacation packs from earlier at once.
No. But that would be really good if they did. No. That's not what they did.
So what happened?
So there were these 3 guys, and I'll say their names. Now, they've only been charged. They have not been found guilty. Okay, so I'm not saying they're guilty. Allegedly, this happened. Okay. So their names are... Yeah. Joseph Geiger, I think his name is, Robert Falk, and Stephen Nero.
So Joe, Robert, and Stephen.
Yeah, three dudes. So what they did was, well, they took advantage of a little loophole in the reservation and payments system for Disney's hotels.
Okay, so what did they do?
So what they did was they booked their hotel legitimately using a regular credit card, checked in, booked, you know, whatever, a week, however long at a time, and then instead of using the same credit card to guarantee their room charges, they used a different credit card, which is quite legitimate. And they decided to use a prepaid card, which also is quite legitimate. Some of us do that in order to budget, to make sure we don't go over our budget. We use a prepaid card that we've set aside, we've saved the money, and we know this is what I can afford and no more. Okay, so it doesn't draw any alarm bells or anything like that for someone to do that. The only thing was, their prepaid card wasn't, they hadn't been saving. If they had, they didn't make very much money. I'm just saying.
So they just picked up for whatever the minimum amount you could have on the card was.
Yeah, it was like $1 or $2.
Yeah, maybe $5 at the most.
So they're in the park. They've already paid for their room, obviously, right, with their regular credit card. And then they just went and spent lavishly
and
charged everything to the room, because you know you have your keys to the kingdom card, right? And they just charged everything, and they said 1 month they charged $15,000 in 1 month. $15,000, which they didn't have. They had $1, so and then they just check out and then check in again.
They had 1/15,000.
15,000 of the amount that they owed.
And so, okay, so they do this 1 year. They go back. How do they go back a second time or third time or fourth time?
You know how everybody says that Disney has facial recognition software? I'm thinking that's not true.
At least not at the hotel check-in.
So it's the same 3 guys, and they did it for 3 or 4 years.
But how did they, I mean, my question comes back to, okay, so they paid for the, because they obviously had to have paid for the room somehow legitimately.
Right.
Maybe that was on another prepaid card type deal. It may not have been like a regular bank account. Because otherwise they would be able to trace it back to that other card that they used and got back to them, I would think.
Yeah, it's in the article it even said it hadn't been fully investigated yet, and so it wasn't clear if the cards they were using were also stolen. They don't know that. So
probably using false identities. I mean, that's the only way I can think about going multiple times. I would think, type it into the computer.
See, and that's exactly what I was thinking. As soon as you go to register the next time, you're gonna get,
a flag.
Can you wait here a moment? I need to go talk to my manager. I'm having problems with my computer, and the next thing you know, a big guy in a white shirt will be standing behind you. Can you come talk with us for a minute, Mr. Snuffy? Seems to be a problem with your card. We can't register you until you pay this other bill that you still owe us. It's $15,000. Jesus, that's a lot of money. Well, I don't know how free it is, though, if you have to give up some years of your life. I don't know. They could end up in jail.
It was free up until they were caught.
It was on the layaway plan.
That's what they call it. I was gonna say it's what they call deferred payment.
That's what it was. Okay, so yeah, that was one of the more egregious cases. I don't know how often this has happened. I mean, did these 3 guys? Oh, and do you know how they got caught?
How'd they get caught?
The owner of a cigar store alerted Disney.
They don't have one on property, so that meant.
Yeah.
They blabbed or got found out at some cigar store down the road.
Yeah, some podunk place probably.
some clerk at a cigar store.
Not
no
the
offense,
Disney security. No. Some cigar guy in Florida.
I wish I was a fly on the wall to hear how that went down.
Yeah.
Did he rip them off too, or did they blab? I want to know.
Yeah. Did he rip them off? Well, that's possible. That's possible.
Did they rip him off too, or did somebody blabbed, or somebody got ripped off? I guess.
I just thought it was funny that he ratted to the mouse. Sorry, couldn't resist. Couldn't resist. That was. Yeesh. Okay. Shall we move on to the next one?
I guess.
Dare we? Okay. Shall we take a commercial break first? Okay, after these commercial messages.
Da 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 da.
It's just water. It should be something delicious.
Well,
Okay. Number 5 of my researched ones. We're getting close to the final one that you get to present.
Yes.
Okay, number 5 was a couple of fake travel agencies. Now this is where someone actually did do their homework.
Okay.
Right? They didn't go to some online site or some side of the road stand with an umbrella above it saying, discount Disney tickets here, which we all know, please, I hope you know, don't buy tickets from those.
It's a long-standing, well-known fact that most, if not all of them, are not kosher, if you get my drift.
Yeah, they're selling worthless tickets, for the most part. Not all
They came out of their printer.
But here are cases where people actually did buy from a travel agency and they still got ripped off.
Okay, so what happened there?
There's a couple of different cases now. I'm going to go with the first one first and then...
The last one last?
And the last one last, exactly. Okay, so there was one that happened in 2014 and then there's one that just happened in 2015. So I'm going to do the one in 2014.
Okay, so the one last year.
Okay, so the one in 2014... was a lady named Lisa Anders, and you know it happened in 2014, but I think they may not have had the trial until 2015. I'm not sure about that. But she ended up getting 4 years and having to pay $104,000 in restitution. That's a lot of money, but it's not all the money she took. That's a sad thing. Okay, she took money from family, from friends, a disabled woman. And in one case that was the first time we had heard of it, she took it from a dance team who she allowed to actually fly to Florida and let them find out the hard way when they got there and tried to check in that they didn't have tickets, they didn't have hotel reservations, they had all these teenage kids there with them, little girls crying.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this.
They had no hotel room, they had nothing, they had to turn around and go home. And they were there to participate in a contest. So yeah, that was painful. Why? I mean, that's pretty low. It's bad enough to sell them fake tickets, but to let them actually fly all the way to Florida, get to the check-in, and
before
discover.
they find out.
And it was too late for them to do any kind of like fundraising or something to try to, you know.
Yeah, of course it was the day of or the day before.
Yeah.
You don't have. You know, and it's a lot of money. It's not like, you know...
And not everybody's rich enough to be able to call their mom and say, hey, can you
loan me $15,000, $20,000 till the end of the week?
Yeah, you know, they were there, I think, you know, they were supposed to be there for probably a week or so. I mean, most of these competitions are at least 3 days, if not a week.
Yeah.
So that was pretty bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. Also, one of the people she ripped off was a lady in a wheelchair, a little lady who
always sad.
She said she had a lifelong dream to go to Disney World with her grandkids. So, being that she didn't have much longer, she got together her money and she needed to buy a discount ticket. So she went to this lady and thinking that she was getting a steeply discounted trip and. She lost her money, and so the odds are that she would never get to go. Now, I did notice that on a couple of the news stations that were reporting on it, there was like a link where you could donate to the victim. So hopefully some good people did donate and get the lady to have her final trip with her grandkids. That would just be horrible. That's pretty low. And in this case, this one actually was adjudicated, and so she did get time. So we can say yes, she actually did that. Now the bad thing is, what's really horrible about this case, well, as if all that wasn't horrible enough, right?
The worst part.
But I guess you could say like the cherry on the top of terribleness in this case. She used that money to go gamble at casinos and to take a Disney trip of her own. So she got to go, but the lady in the wheelchair and the dance team didn't. So, yeah, that's pretty low.
Yikes.
Now, but you would think, well, in this case, that lady's case, there were some kind of warning signs that should have kind of maybe tipped people off. And she was preying on the fact that the people who were investing with her needed discounts. They were going to her because she was getting them steep discounts. Now, she had told people that she had a membership in a Disney vacation club.
Oh, yeah.
And so that way she was able to get discounted tickets.
Of course.
So, and that's why she was taking, $2,000 and $3,000 and then telling them that this was a trip for 4 people. Now, do the math. You cannot get a trip for 4 people for $2,000 or $3,000 to Disney. Not happening. Okay. I mean, unless you stay at like the campgrounds or something like that, right? But I mean, she was booking them at night, so supposedly booking them at night. Yeah. And one, she said, I think it was the Animal Kingdom Lodge or one of those.
Yeah, because she's probably booking them in the vacation club suites and stuff like that.
Well, she said she was anyway.
Wow.
She wasn't
supposed to have been.
Yes, exactly. She wasn't booking them. In one case, the person showed up and they did have a room, but they didn't have their park tickets and all that. But like I said, in the case of the dance team, they showed them they didn't even have a hotel.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I mean, you got kids without a place to stay.
Yeah, and I mean, what are they supposed to do?
Sleep in the airport or something?
Yeah, they have to until the plane can get them back home. Assume that you can be able to change that plane ticket to come earlier.
And a lot of people say, well, couldn't Disney, go ahead and but you got to think, they can't do that for everyone. And this has got to happen a lot. I mean, if we're just hearing about these cases, there's got to be a lot of times.
This also plays off of something that's, I don't know if it's a growing trend, but it's a trend I'm hearing more about, which is people who are in the Disney Vacation Club who are legitimately selling or renting their access to get you a steeply discounted room rate or whatever else. But at the same time, because it plays into that, you have to know where to go to do this legitimately, and it's really hard because there isn't too many places to do it.
Yeah. Again, it's what we were talking about at the very beginning. A lot of why these people get ripped off is because there's that Disney mystique, that Disney magic, that when you hear those words, you just don't think that someone's ripping you off.
No, I mean,
you just don't always use your usual diligence, that you would normally use, that you would, somebody said I was going to send you to Cancun and you were going to have a 4-star hotel and all the free entertainment and everything. You'd kind of go, for that much? Are you sure? But when you start talking Disney, you think, oh yeah, he probably has some,
insider track or something.
Yeah, he got some tickets, he got something free, so yeah, so it makes sense. Who would sell me Disney tickets that weren't real? Well,
people do.
People do. Now the second case, in a way, it's even worse because this was a legitimate travel agency. In the first case I was telling you about, she had a travel agency, but it was kind of a fly-by-night. It really wasn't a travel agency. She had never done any business in travel work. I mean, she kind of put it together, but she got her family to invest in it, which is horrible because they got ripped off too.
Of course.
And she had also thrown in some other stuff about supposedly needing money to help with her sister's medical care. She wasn't getting the money to her sister, so that's pretty terrible. But you could say, well, if you just do your due diligence, you wouldn't go with someone like that. Most of us would never try to buy a travel, through someone like that. But in the second case, this woman, her name was Christine Sepik. I think it's Sepik. She did have a license. Okay. She did have a legitimate office. She had been in the business for a while, and she was even a member of the local Chamber of Commerce. But she started ripping people off, and she started with basically with the bus tours. And she was a lot of the older folks. A lot of older folks take bus tours to local towns, and they play bingo or they go to casinos or whatever, and they have a nice little vacation package. So she started with ripping them off, where she would, they already have the trip on the bus, and then she would not arrange for their hotel or their venue, entertainment or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I guess from there it just sort of escalated. But two of the people that she ripped off were specifically Disney trips. And that was the case that I was most interested in, read about. In this case, she claimed that someone had bought a Disney vacation package from her and then hadn't been able to go. So now she was going to be stuck with the cost. Now, that's not true, right? When a travel agent books through Disney, they can get their money back.
Yeah.
Okay. So there shouldn't have been any cost to her for that cancellation. But she claimed that she was going to be stuck with it and she needed to get rid of this trip. And she advertised it on, I think it was eBay I'm not sure. It was one of those
It's a good place to
standards.
do it.
Yeah. Now, yeah, exactly. As soon as you see somebody advertise, you're supposed to be a travel agent, and you're advertising on a site like that. That should send up red flags. But it sounded legit to the two people who purchased them from her. Now, here's the thing. She had one trip, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
She sold it to two people.
That's going to be some close quarters.
And she told them, one of them was a husband, wife, and 2 children, and the other one was a lady, another adult, and her daughter.
So
it's either a 3-person or a 4-person trip. But she sold one trip to 2 people in 2 totally different ways. It gets worse.
Okay.
Okay. In the one case, the lady hadn't told the children about it yet when she found out that the trip was no good. So thankfully, at least the children.
Yeah, they were spared.
In the other case, the lady had given it to her daughter as a birthday present.
Of course.
And they did the whole, "We're going to Disneyland," like you see on the commercial. And then, you know, a couple days, a little bit later, they had to sit the kid down and go, "We're not going to Disneyland." The lady didn't book the tickets, and of course the kid's not going to understand. The kid was like, 6 or 7 years old or something. She's not going to understand. Like, "Wait, Mom, you said we were going to Disneyland. I was all excited. That was my birthday present."
So why are we not going?
And, and you could tell by listening to the lady and seeing and everything, the reason she was buying the tickets in the first place that way was because it was cheap. She didn't have money to go.
Of course.
So she's like, we're trying to figure out a way to go anyway, but, if they don't get their money back, then they can't go. So that's a really horrible story. All in all, the lady was said to have stolen up to $80,000. Okay, so I just wanted to point out that in the case of this lady in Pennsylvania, this Christine Sepik, this case has not been adjudicated. She's been charged, but she has not been tried, so I can't say she's guilty. We don't know that she did these things.
So everything is still allegedly on the most recent case.
Right. So we want to make sure that we don't say that she's actually, I said it as if we know she did these things. This is just what people have alleged at this point, what they complained. So she may have some sort of information or evidence that would exonerate her. I would hope so, but it looks pretty bad right now. So,